All right, so we're looking at lesson 55. Remember, we have our test tomorrow. But for today's lesson, what we're dealing with is we are working with lesson 55, not 54. Let me turn to it. Common denominators, and working out fractions to get the denominators common so we can do our addition or subtraction. So let's take our one and only example that we have today, and we have this problem before us: 1/2 minus 1/6. All right, so looking at this, you should realize one thing right away. I cannot do this problem, right? This problem cannot be done the way it is before me because, and why is that? It's because, why? Somebody tell me. Right, we don't have common denominators, do we? We have a 2, here, and we have a 6. Somehow, we have to do something to make these denominators the same. Now, can I try making both denominators a 2? Mason? Right, well, and the 6 is actually bigger than the 2, so I can't reduce the 6 down to a 2. Or at least I don't want to. It's much easier to try to make the smaller number a bigger number, right? And I can make, there may be occasions where the 6 and the 2 won't work out, where you have to use the least common multiple, right? But and we're really doing that. Well, you know what? Actually, we're doing that in this case too. We're using the least common multiple when it comes right down to it. But what we do here, guys, is obviously we have to make this 2 into a 6. So what I'm going to do is watch what I do up on the board. I know I want to have a 6 here. I want to have a 6 here. I want to have my minus sign, and I want to have my line for where my answer is going to go. So now I have to do something to fill these numbers in. Okay, well, I'm not changing this fraction here at all, am I? I'm keeping it 1/6, so I can just bring it over as 1/6 and I'm good to go. But this is the one here. Somehow I have to get this 2 into a 6. And if you remember equivalent fractions, we said that to find out an equivalent fraction for 1/2, I can multiply it by a number in the numerator and denominator that would be the same. So I could multiply it by 2 over 2, right? And that would give me 2/4. Or I can take that 1/2, I can multiply it by 3 over 3, and that will give me 3/6. Now remember, I started with 1/2. I ended up with 2/4 and 3/6, but when I reduce these down, what do they reduce down to? Yeah, they reduce down to half. Both of them reduce down to 1/2. Because these are equivalent fractions. That's what I'm doing here. I'm making equivalent fractions. The 1/2 is equivalent to the 2/4 because I multiplied by a fraction that is not going to change the relationship of these two fractions when I'm done. So what I have to do here is I've got to multiply this 1/2 by a number that's going to give me a 6 on the bottom. And that's going to be a 3 because 2 times 3 is 6. Well, whatever number I have in the bottom, I have to use in the top. It has to be the number, it has to total 1. 3 over 3 is 1, right? So I have my equivalent relationship that one, and when I'm done with this, it's still going to reduce down to 1/2 because I use something like 3 over 3. So obviously 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, so I have this 3/6 minus 1/6. Now I can do my subtraction, can't I? And to finish this problem out, I know that my answer is going to have a 6 in it because that's my denominator. Now I'm just subtracting 1 from 3 and I get 2. And that can be reduced down to 1/3, right? Does everybody see that? Does it make sense? Mason. You know what? It is out of sight. Thanks. I didn't realize that. Good point, Mason. Mason just said to me that I'm going down past the green capture area, and he's right. So when I take this 3/6 minus 1/6, I'm going to do it right here. 6 stays in my denominator because I have 6 here, and I subtract 1 from 3 and it gives me 2. And that reduces down to 1/3. I have that all written down here, but you can't see it. So thanks for that, Mason. Appreciate it. And that's how we do that answer. Everybody understand that? Any problems with that? Any questions with that whatsoever? Any questions at all? Okay, I'm gonna erase this, and I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Let's see. There's six of us in here. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. Let me have Glenn, Mason, and Wyatt go to the board. And Skylar, come up here. Yeah, Tucker. Huh? What's going to happen? Oh, no. All right, Wyatt, your problem is 1/2 plus 3/8. Letter A. You have letter A. Glenn, you have letter B, 3/8 plus 1/4. Mason, you have letter C, 3/4 plus 1/8. And then you're going to have whoops. You're going to have 1/2 minus 1/4. There you go. No, 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 no. Where are you going? Yeah. Okay, I can't hardly read that. 3/4 plus 1/8. Now, what'd you do to you multiplied it by 2 over 2, and you got 6/8. 6/8 plus what? 1/8. Is that plus or minus? Okay, yeah. You had 3/4 plus 1/8. 3/4 plus 1/8. 6, and you got a 7 over 8. That is absolutely correct. Good job. Why are you multiplying both of them by 2? Hmm? No, you got to make it a 4. You don't make them both an 8. I mean, yeah, technically you could. It'll reduce down, but you don't want to do that. We're not doing that. You can find a common multiple of 4. Stop squeezing that button. You're moving the thing all over the place. There you go. Where? I have no idea what you're doing. You're multiplying. Is that your answer? No? Here, let me erase all this because you got a mess. You got a mess going on here. Minus 1/4. What do you do? Tucker, why don't you go on up to the board and do 5/8 minus 1/4. Ben, go up and do 3/4 minus 3/8. Which one did you have? You had A? That is not correct. Why do you have a 16 there? 3/4 minus 3/8. B is 5/8. What are you doing? Okay, you multiply them both by 2. It should be times 2 over 2, not 2, by 2 over 2. Otherwise, you're writing that as 2 over 1. Okay, and you get 2/4. 2/4 minus 1/4, right? Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I did it.
Give me my pen. Good job. Very good. All right, so, yeah, yours is right. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, Peter, I'm showing you how to do this, what Skylar did, explaining it to you. You have the 1/2, you got to make that denominator a 4, so you multiply it by 2 over 2. That gives you 2/4. So now I can take 2/4 and subtract 1/4 from it, and I get 1/4, right? Because the denominator comes down, and then we subtract 1 from 2, and we get 1. And that's our answer, buddy. All right? I think you were the only one absent from class today, so hopefully this will help you. Hope you feel better if you're sick, or I think maybe you're with your grandpa. Whatever you're doing, buddy. Yeah, hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in class.